All right. Hey, everyone. This is an open door. Um, and I'm Cindy. And if you were to believe what is written on my computer screen, it's October 20th. And this is the hour we have labeled where the rubber meets the road, where we take a pointing from A Course in Miracles and we talk about how we how it can be utilized in our experience of life. I'm being very careful. I'm watching the words shift and change as I go to speak them. This week, it's a little pointing about the world. Um, and I don't know that we have others here who are going to read from the book predominantly. I've been sitting with both what is the world, what is the real world, on page 1473, and even more, the definition of world that's in the glossary of course terms. So what I want to do is just speak for a few minutes, play the song that for me represents the real world, a song that represents the real world, and then talk about something, a real subtle kind of practice, and then open it up. So the few words, here's my understanding of where I sit with this right now, is that the world in all of its forms is a perception, not a reality, not the absolute truth is just, we talked about it last Thursday, the dream without a dreamer. So there's just the flow in the absolute. We wouldn't be more than one having a conversation. So we're a few steps back from that, however many steps back from that. So essentially, the world we're looking upon is a projection of the thoughts, the ideas, the beliefs that are held in the mind. And depending on which level we're talking about, it's not just the Cindy mind versus the William. I love saying William's name because he's spoken about how much he loves just hearing his name. Hi, William. Um, so it's it's there's a lot of different levels, but it is a projection of thoughts, ideas, beliefs, on one level that are filtered through Cindy, but also that are filtered through the idea of being in Western New York. There's a collective consciousness and there's a flow of ideas, beliefs, and stuff that flow through. Here in Buffalo, there's this belief that the Buffalo Bills are special, and there's a collective kind of filtering system, and the world presents something like that. And then there's a collective consciousness of being a female, a male, an American, a human. It goes out and out and out. And all of those ideas, thoughts, beliefs, they build this thing that I haven't listened to Donald yet, but I've been getting a lot of understanding that from within that cacophony of thoughts and ideas and beliefs, this world gets projected. So it's not personal. Like to say this is my world, unless you're in the larger viewpoint, doesn't make sense to me. But it is a projection of thoughts, beliefs, ideas, all things I think I see reflect ideas. One of my favorite lines in A Course in Miracles. And so this understanding that from that perspective, there is this opportunity to take everything that is seen as the projected world back into the sense of the mind that is operating here. And I'm going to just tell you about the practice that happened this morning after the song. There's a continuous reclaiming process that's going on. The guides state quite clearly that everything in the world that I see is my responsibility. I've contributed to it. If I hadn't, I wouldn't see it. And the moment I am giving my willingness to accept that responsibility, I can soften around it and have it be reclaimed, from the upper room. And as I continually just be in the gentle practice of that, accepting the atonement, allowing things to be forgiven, the world that we see in general is going to continue to rise further and further up in consciousness. And the chaos is going to start to disappear, and the fear, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the mind might argue that's not what we're seeing right now, except that if we go back again to this idea from the guides, we're in this process right now, and I feel it, where what was hidden is coming up and is being seen. And again, I'm merging the guides in the course right now, but that's what's happening. Until you're willing to see it, it's not transformed. You got to open the door to the closet before you can clean it out. So essentially, they're stating the real world is still a perception. And the world of the dualistic mind is where the chaos is. Right now, in my current practice, it's progressive, if you want to use that term, but there's just this continuous unfolding, opening, understanding that when there is fear arising, when there's a sense that the world is going insane, then I'm a part of it. It's really just a continuous opportunity to accept that what is being looked at is a projection. And because I'm seeing it, I have the ability to be part of what transforms it. And I'll talk about a gentle practice that I stepped into this morning. But first, I want to play a song that for me represents the description of the real world. And here it is.
When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. And he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small. is hear it all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
So August made it. Welcome, August, and everybody else. So Amy and I both have a period of time where we studied with Jim Self and Mastering Alchemy, and there are a number of key teachings from that period of time. But the one that's coming up for me right now is practice when it doesn't count. Practice when it doesn't count. He used to say, there would be this moment when the lights would go out, and your very first thought would be what materialized when the lights came back on. So if you continue to practice, if you developed a daily kind of practice of knowing the truth, when the lights went out, your first thought may, oh, now I get to have dinner with the angels. And the lights would come back on, and you'd be on this beautiful table with all the angels and love and God. But if you hadn't been practicing and your investment was in a fear-based world and the lights went out, and you're like, oh my God, what horrible thing. What monster is waiting for me under the bed? And was your automatic response. Then the lights came back on, that's what you would find. And it was very, 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 very informed. He talked a lot about other things, but that always stayed with me. And what happened this morning while I was sitting with this teaching, there's a lot of opportunities, right? For what is it about the world out there that frightens us? However, what I sat with this morning was something again from the guides, this basic teaching that every thought of separation, every thought of separation equaled a denial of the divine, equals some fear-based glue that holds it together, even if you're not seeing it. Right? So what happened this morning was the cat crawled up into my arms. Right? The cat likes to be held like a baby. She literally crawls up, she puts her head here, she starts to purr. I hold her, right? There was a sense of two. Now you could say it's a beautiful sense of two, and I'm not discounting but for the purpose of what I was sinking into the teachings, and what erupted was, I'm just going to share it with you, and there's an intention here to spend just a few minutes a day with this, right? It's not, I'm not implying let's use the world and everything you see in the world like this. Just 5 minutes a day. It's a Helen Hamilton, one of the things Helen Hamilton taught me was just go into something for 3, 5, 6 minutes a day, and it's going to shift things. So that's all this is. So I'm holding Maeve in my hand. She's purring in my ear, and I'm very aware of the feeling that there's two of us. So the memory arose. Well, the guides tell me that all sense of separation, if there's two, there's a level of separation. If there's separation, then there's fear somewhere. And so I just invited the fear to show up. And it didn't really change the experience, but I felt a ball, a knot in my belly. So, oh, there's a density and energy of fear. And I just allowed it up. And then the next thought was, oh, there's a feeling of two. The guides have taught me, and I trust that wherever there's a split, a me and a not me, there's some energy of the denial of the divine. There is like just this logical, okay, if there's two, then there's a place where God is not. And I asked the question, is it really true that there's some place God is not? And I just didn't try to answer it. I just allowed, and I could feel it now. There's an energy movement in the question, in the contemplation. Is it really possible that there could be a place where God is not? Now, to say that this whole experience was peaceful and joyous, it didn't start with a trauma point, right? And I allowed energy movement. And then I just brought it back again to the worldly experience of holding the cat. And I became really aware of the sound of her purring in my ear and the warmth. There's still this sense of two. And so I just, again, said, oh, wherever there's two, there's some level of fear. And it was less than the first time, but I felt just this, I just allowed it to appear. I didn't go searching for it. There was just this, I'm spending all this time in this teaching, there must be something to it. And I just allowed it to be there. And then, oh, there's also a denial of the divine. Is it really possible? Just a few minutes. And then the questioning just sort of stopped. And there was an awareness that she and I were breathing together. And then there was just the breathing. And so there's an understanding based on everything that I am right now. A simple practice like that, just 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes on a regular basis will do more for me, like still hit the trauma, but somehow something really fundamental felt like it shifted in my world in this practice. And so it felt like a gift from grace as I asked, how can I be part of what makes the dualistic world more and more real? Didn't use those kind of words, but that's the feeling. And with that, I'm handing things over to Andrew. Hey, Andrew.
Hello, Cindy. Hello, everyone. Love to all of you. I love that song that you played, Cindy. That's a great song. I think you covered this very well. What I find interesting is what is the perceiver? Is it the body's eyes and ears and nose, or is it the mind? Because here it says the real world, paragraph 2, I think it's the second sentence. The real world shows a world differently, seen through quiet eyes and with a mind at peace. And then first sentence of chapter 3, paragraph 3. What need has such a mind for thoughts of death, attack, and murder? And then the world it sees arises from a mind at peace within itself. No danger lurks. And then in the last paragraph, the Holy Spirit has no need of time when it has served its purpose. Now he waits but that one instant more for God to take his final step, and time has disappeared, taking perception with it as it goes, and leaving but the truth behind to be itself. That instant is our goal. Well, that is complete revelation. That's when we reach the real world is when we reach the bridge that God comes across and brings us home. And that's what this chapter tells me. And I mean, the book says it in many ways. At this time, I don't think I have anything to add, but if you have a question or something, that might help me.
I'm looking forward to whoever's next. This is going to be fun. And if no one raises their hand soon, I'm just going to call on Richard. I just thought I'd say that out loud to give him warning.
Morning, everyone. Love is all. I love this whole idea of the real world. There's always been a serious subject for me, I guess. And lately I've been reacquainted with some of the basic ideas of the Course. And when you measure perception of a real world versus perception of a unreal world, what is the difference? And what came to mind was recently I've been dealing with projection-based perception. That everything we see in the world, how we see it, is what we projected onto it. So if the original world, the non-real world, was made by the projection of sin, fear, and guilt, by the one self that choose to believe that it has separated from source. That's what the world is. And if that's how you see the world, that's what will be your experience in the world. But if you have awakened to the fact that you've never separated from God and that are for source, and you were truth, peace, love, and joy, then what you perceive in the world is peace, love, and joy. So if you judge the world for anything, which of course I believe teaches we cannot judge, we are incapable of judgment. And so if you judge anything, you're in the old mind of sin, fear, and guilt. But if you want to be happy and peaceful and joyful, and your experience while in the dream, you have to see and project the love, peace, and joy you want to experience onto the world without judgment, regardless of what appears to be happening in the world. So, and then when the collective, you mentioned the collective earlier, a very good reference, because what we experience is the collective mind of the sonship. And the collective mind is primarily full of sin, fear, and guilt. And that's what we perceive. And that's what we experience. So if we can really heal our mind to the point where all we see in the world is peace, love, and joy, and what is other than that is a call for love, then I believe I'm on the right path as a separate self. And all we can do as individuals is work on our own perception of the world and our own projection onto the world of what we want to see in the world. So if you see everything as holy now, as the song said, then I think I'm on the right path. Love is all. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. Ronna Marin's got her hand up.
Yeah, and here I am. I'm home
Let's see your
now.
beautiful haircut. Where'd you go? There you
I'm
are.
right here.
Stunning.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Got my roots done. Grateful for the opportunity to do things like that. Grateful for the fact that my hairstylist reached out to me this morning at 9 and said, "Would you like to come earlier?" And I was like, "Well, yes, I would." And I got the opportunity. She asked, "Well, what's this class that you're taking?" Can't explain this to people in the world. Really. I didn't try. I was grateful for that. I just sort of left it. Oh, it's spiritual. It's called A Course in Miracles. And I just left it there. That was it, May, right? Hands off right after that. If there are more questions, I'm willing to answer. If there are none, don't talk about it anymore. So I'm grateful for that. I wanted to share an experience I had a few days ago. I was sitting here with my best girlfriend, and that I've known for, like 3 decades. I've talked about her in here now, but before. And our relationship is just beautiful again. And, learning how to not take things personally and just see people the love that they are, and remembering who they are in truth, and allowing things to come up. I mean, I'm just here to say, yes, it works. It really does. But we were sitting here the other day and we were talking about a mutual friend who is not in this room, in case anybody is wondering. But we were talking about a mutual friend, and I said something, and and my friend said, "You told me you thought X, Y, and Z about her." So the world threw a previous judgment right in my face. And you know what? The truth is I had said that. And I had said that about 3 years ago. But it was so interesting that my friend clicked right in there. "Well, you said this." And this is what happened. I turned to her And I said, I would like to reclaim that statement. And she shook her head. She don't know anything about the guide. She knows that I'm doing this and she sat in before and whatever. But the nod in her body was like spirit saying yes. You know what I mean? So I said, may I just take a moment? And she said, yeah. I said, I reclaim everything I just said, and I would like to say what I know to be the truth about that person today. And just in a succinct way, said it. And then it was dropped. But it was so neat to realize the power of reclaiming. Yeah, I did say that. I did say that judgment before. And you know what? I don't believe that today. I don't believe it. And so it's really interesting to just have the world give me that example, right? And it shows again, the world is for me. That was perfectly prescribed because this third person, I really like this person and I'm having a great, and I don't believe that about that person. It was like, did I ever really believe that about that person? Or was it some just ego flapping their mouth at some time, like, the way my girlfriend and I used to talk a lot, which I hear today. And neither one of us are engaging in that kind of communication anymore, which is wonderful too. I mean, it's just so beautiful to see one's own growth and then the growth of those we touch. I'm not saying that Rana has anything to do with Michelle's growth. What I'm saying is spirit giving to spirit what spirit requests, right? And the growth together. And so just wanted to share that. Thanks.
Thank you. Something tells me I'm not the only one that needed to hear that today, but who knows? How about you, William?
Something very curious I'm noticing, and it has to do, when you said William likes to hear that, his name. It's interesting because, in a way, where is William? And then it occurred to me, oh, there he is over there in Cindy. And wait a minute, oh, he's over here. Oh, he's over here. It's almost like there's no William, except in the words that others say. And I find myself everywhere. And so it's so curious because more and more I'm seeing no words. I'm feeling no words. I'm less interested in words. Example, my son talking yesterday. What I see words is one way we try to connect, but it's kind of a fool's gold connection. Because then when someone says the name, I do feel a connection, but it's a different kind of connection. That William is everywhere and we're connected. Like with my son now, it's like impossible to get close to him. Now, if he were physically here, I could touch physically. But our words, my beliefs, his beliefs, my beliefs about his beliefs, it's all such a distorted mess. But the more I'm not there, I have the love, and I just find myself going back inside where there are no words. I'm just, he and I are one. Oh, I just feel it in my heart. So it is holy. So I appreciate, yes, something about the name, but I'm sensing that there's something different about when I hear that name. And I don't need to say more about it. It just Hi, everybody. I'm everywhere and we're all together. Thank you.
This doesn't happen very often where Nadego raises her hand and then lowers it. But I noticed, sweetheart. So you want to at least say good morning?
I didn't know I lowered it. I didn't know. I thought it was still raised. Um, I just first I just want to say I love being here. I just love being here. And I love these teachings of just stopping and just being silent. Because that's what I am. I am the silence. And it just brings me so much joy and peace and love. And it's everything that I want because it's everything I am. And I love being here with all of you. It's just such a gift. And we don't need to know. I don't need to know. I can just sit here. And that's why I love this teachings from Ramana when he stopped talking. I love those teachings because he knew that that wasn't him. So, yeah, oh, and so actually, I don't actually, oh, using, I don't know how to say it. Sorry. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, it was when I had my brain injury, when I realized that I was, that when I was talking, that wasn't me. I refused. I refused. I refused. I got rid of my TV. Oh, it was a TV. I refused. I refused. I just was like, I'm not doing. I'm not watching TV. I'm not doing that. I'm not interested. I want to know what I really am. I want to know Ramana. I want to know what I really am. And I stopped, I got rid of the TV, or I refused. I just refused. I mean, I still watch the news and whatever I need to do. It comes to me. But I'm just like, I'm not going to do that. I want to know what I really am. And I want God and Ramana to guide me. And it just brings me so much joy and peace and love. And I love being here with all of you. All of you inspire me so much. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Rana, go for it.
Okay, cool. So since our friend Indigo is speaking about Ramana, I want to tell you something that I've been playing around with, and it's just mind blowing to me how simple this is. when I lay down and put my head on the pillow at night now, I just repeat, I am that I am. And I literally don't get through 3 of them. I mean, it immediately, I don't know where I go, but I seem to drift off very easily. And so I just wanted to share that with people. I know that there's a lot of people that have a hard time falling asleep, or sometimes you wake up and then, my killer is if I wake up in the middle of the night and I get up and stay up for a minute, then I have a very hard time going back to sleep. But this phrase, I'm not going to say that it's not magic. There's something that sinks in and allows the transition to sleep happen very easily. So I love you all.
I love you more. Hey, Amy.
Hey, gang. Uh, love to see everybody this morning. I so appreciate Monday mornings. 'Cause it's so much fun to get back together with everyone and see everyone's face again. Absolutely every one of you, even if you don't have your screen on. So, speaking of sleeping, I had an experience this weekend, and it was very brief, but I thought I would share it with you. I wake up all the time. My sleep is constantly interrupted, but I say my sleep, but it's just the sleep. The sleep of this awareness is constantly interrupted. And rather than look at it like, oh, I'm not sleeping, I look at it like, oh, there must be something that this awareness is supposed to be paying attention to, or there must be something for this awareness in waking up. And I don't know what it is. I don't pretend to know what it is, but I just stay open to whatever arises. And sometimes I just watch my breath, and sometimes I take off and I go someplace that I really enjoy. This weekend, I woke up and I was in a sound sleep, and I did not know who I was. There was no sense of any personal self, not at all. And there was something, a voice in that came with that followed into the waking, which was there's no perceiver, there's no observer. And I realized that there wasn't an observer. It was just being, just absolute, just being. And I love the Course teaching that reminds us we didn't make ourselves, we didn't create ourselves. Because that is so freeing. Anyway, just wanted to share that. There was just a deepening of the recognition that even the observer is one step away from just pure being. And I love being the observer. I love the observations and knowing I'm observing. And I find it extremely useful to center in that way in this world of chaos, which it does a really good job of doing that. But ultimately, there really isn't even any observer. That was my experience pretty clearly. So I just thought I would share that. Thanks for listening.
So as I'm listening to you, um, even, the court, what we're talking about today with the world, the Course teaches that the world's still a perception. So it sounds like you were just pointing to a direct experience of what was beyond that.
Yeah, that was the gift, whatever you want to call it. That was what came. I love Rana's willingness to share. I think the way that we go to sleep at night is so important. And so I think in a way that my periods of wakefulness are an opportunity to go to sleep again, just reminding myself again. You know, every time I wake up, it's an opportunity to remind myself again that the dream world and the waking world are the same. And I get to re-enter the sleep world, remembering what I am over and over and over again. And it's actually really a blessing. So that's it. Love us so much.
Thank you. I really would love to hear Sandra speak. She's leaving us for the better part of 3 weeks soon, and so any little opportunity to hear anything from you, Sandra, before you go would be a blessing.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your beautiful words, for the music, for the opportunity to just rest in the presence of truth. It's just delightful. I guess what stood out for me when I read this morning is kind of what Andrew pointed to, the idea of perception. And that first line, the real world is a symbol like the rest of what perception offers. And so my mind went to where does the perception come from? And why did I perceive things one way, like with friendship that Rana talked about, and then later changed perception? And then I just started, I don't know, the mind wandered to all the lessons of, I could see peace instead of this. I want to see with the vision of God. I want to think with the mind of God. I want to, all these pointers in each lesson to another way of perceiving. And as I did each of those lessons, gradually and, it's not even gradually, quickly and gradually, I don't know, at the same time, things started changing. And at first I thought everything else was out there was changing. I really did believe that. That's what I think I thought a miracle was, that everything around me was changing. But actually, as we all know, I was changing. And the I that sees differently isn't the small self or the personal self or the true self. It's the one self. The one self that perception is not limited to the physical being, the senses. It's a bigger perception, a wider perception that sees beauty like everything is holy now. You know, that just sees in each of you the brotherhood, sisterhood, the common light that envelops us all together. And I recognize also in this experience that when Amy was saying, waking up was an opportunity. Every moment is an opportunity, really. Every single moment of this breathing in, breathing out is an opportunity. And I sense the choice that I make, how to perceive it. That there is a choice in this. Where is the perception coming from? And it's amazing how everything is so different. when the choice of perception comes from that indescribable place. Then I get the opportunity to be at peace and to feel love and joy and skip through the day. Just skip on around the house and skip to the market and have fun with people and be blessed by, I get to be blessed by you, by the trees, by the ocean, by the barking dog, by everything that I encounter while I get to have this experience of life. It's such a treasure, isn't it? Such a treasure to just breathe in, breathe out, taste, feel sad and cry, feel joy and laughter. So that's kind of what I got out of this. And then get to we're talk about reclaiming. It's like the past, it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter really what happened yesterday, even. But I can see even that through this new way of being. So I will miss you. I'm going to leave on Thursday, so I might have a few more meetings that I can jump in and out of, but I will miss all of you. And I will try to tune in when it's possible. But you will be in my hearts. I will carry you with me. I will take you with me.
I would love to go to Italy, so thank you very much.
I hope you all have a blessed day.
Thank you. Hey, William.
Well, I am aware that as much as I love being with no words, there's an August in me that I'm putting words to in curiosity and concern. I'm curious how August out there somewhere is doing. And I just noticed that I have a nice, wonderful, loving feeling to that being who is so living a uniqueness. And I just love to hear from him.
Everybody wants to know where in the world is August. Can you speak, August? I don't know what kind of internet connection you have. I was getting pictures all weekend long of sunrise, sunsets and beaches and miracle motorbikes showing up and free vegan dinners. So our exchanges, he seems to have stepped into this miracle unfolding of experiences that are just, they seem really wonderful, intense, but yeah, getting pictures going. Isn't this the most amazing sunset? I wish I knew where I was. And sitting at cafes and being invited to like gourmet vegan meals. And he's having, at least this weekend, those were the reports I was receiving. I do know he's been moving in and out of good internet connections. So there's that too. That wants to share? Livy.
Hi, everybody. Really good to be here with y'all this morning. Keeping my video off. I woke up late this morning. I had visions of having joined y'all getting right out of the shower, and I could have joined Amy in that venture. But yeah, so anyway, I was talking with Cindy before the meeting, and my trained mind, the thought mind, it's really been interesting recently. It seems like since my dad has been gone, I'm able to hear the messages that my body had held and has held for so long, and that's been wonderful. And I need to know my audience, as Rana has said, because I went to Lowe's because when I got the 4 cats, the thought, oh, well, I'm going to have to get a job. I'm not going to have enough money. That's where the thought went, just immediately came up, and that's where it went. And so I had an interview at Lowe's, and the interviewer, I woke up the next day and I went, I cannot believe that was the answer I gave, because the interviewer said, so how do you handle difficult people in difficult situations? And so my response was, well, 99.9% of the time, if somebody is upset, it doesn't have anything to do with me. And which isn't really the response that Lowe's was expecting, I think. So I did not get the job. And I just saw it as a way of the universe going, okay, that was your decision to think that you needed a job. You did not even, that was just your mode. So why don't we go back to being guided? And why don't we go back to being in the moment, right here, right now, trusting and being in trust, and that you're being guided. So do what you're doing with everybody else. Just be with what is right here, right now, in this moment, and trust that not only do I have everything I need right now, I will always have everything I need, because right here, right now, in this moment, it's good. It's absolutely good. And I'm grateful that I hear all your voices, and I carry you all with me throughout the day when I'm not here with you. And so thank you for your, and to use Rana's word, it really occurred to me yesterday as well, reclaiming my living space, reclaiming just a lot of stuff that's been coming up. And, I used to be a singer-songwriter, 40 some odd years ago, and played guitar and everything. And it's interesting how now that my dad's not here, I'm hearing the messages instead of just the body reacting. And so I'm really, really grateful to be finding myself going into territory of memories that I did not have allowed to come up. And so anyway, I'm going to sign off now. And because I'm losing words, the words are starting to not mean anything. And so I just am ready to sign off. But I bring y'all with me everywhere, and I'm so grateful for you. So thanks for letting me share this morning. I hope y'all have a wonderful October the 20th. Love y'all.
Love you all. All right, so Moses and Jesus went golfing. Moses and Jesus Christ went golfing. Jesus had this desire, had never golfed before, and he wanted to golf like Tiger Woods. He said, what? And he grabbed the driver, and he went and hit the ball, and it landed in the pond. And he went to try to retrieve the ball, only Jesus kept walking back and forth on the water, couldn't get to the ball. So Moses had to part the pond so Jesus could grab the ball. He says, no matter what I do, I want to golf like Tiger Woods. And over and over and over again, he hits this ball. It lands in the water. He walks on the water. Moses parts the sea. He grabs the ball, and he just won't give up. He wants to be Tiger Woods. Moses is getting a little tired. The 9th hole, this is happening again. He's sitting underneath a tree, Jesus is walking up and down the pond trying to reach the ball, and two other golfers walk by and they say, what does he think he is? Jesus Christ? Moses just looked at him and said, no, he thinks he's Tiger Woods. And with that, I'm stopping the recording.